Hey guys, what's up? Blacker Bricks here, back with part 2 of what are the best websites or places to buy Lego in bulk. I've actually released part 1 of this video. I'll try to link it somewhere up here in the top. If not, you can just check some of my past videos. It'll probably be there somewhere. That being said, let's get right into the video. So this is the first one I've chosen, and that is the pick a brick wall. So I just want to be clear, don't confuse this with the pick a brick option, which is available on the Lego website. That is online, and this is in person. Now, that kind of goes into the pros and the cons. I've actually not included this, but one con is that you do have to go in store and that you have to have a Lego store near you. You can see I've kind of factored that into a pro as well, in the fact that it's instant compared to some of our other options which might take many months to ship, such as the lug bulk or Bricklink orders, which take at least a week or so to ship. So it's instant as long as you have a Lego store. So I know a lot of you guys live in countries where there are no Lego stores or there's nowhere nearby reasonably. So in the US, thankfully, it's pretty good that there are a lot of Lego stores. Anyways, the other pro I feel is that it's very affordable. Some of the other options we've spoken about are actually fairly expensive when you think about it. They have shipping and handling, and in general, they end up being very expensive. So you can buy pick-a-brick cups for as cheap as $9 US. Now, this is a 2021 price. Might go up in the future. Who knows? I would always recommend the $16 cup, but I just want to let you know that it has an affordable base price. Now, if you go out and you buy if you buy 30 pick-a-brick cups, that comes out to be around $480 adding tax, so it gets expensive, but it has an affordable base price. Now, the other pro is it's great for large quantities. So if you happen to see a good piece, like a masonry brick or a grass piece or something like that that you might need a lot of, it's great for that because you can pretty much load up on as many of those as possible. Now, going right into the cons there's not much variety at once. Now, this also depends on which store you go to. I recently made a trip to the Pick-a-Brick Wall in the Disney Springs store, and I have to say, really some of the best variety I've ever seen. It's a massive store, and they have great variety. And there are a couple of stores across the US that have huge stores and with a lot of variety. So if you happen to come across one of those, then this doesn't really apply as much to you, but at once, there's not a ton of variety, so sometimes you might need to wait for them to switch out the pieces. But it's good that they do that, they switch out the pieces. Now, the other con, and this is really something you should think about, is that the value is not that great for large parts. Now, this is sort of a case-by-case thing, but I recently bought brick 1x6 in sand green, and constantly I was telling myself that, wow, this is such a great deal, awesome. I'm so glad I got this at a great price. And I was looking at it, I was calculating. I haven't actually counted the bricks, something I'll do when I get back home in a couple of weeks. But yeah, it was not as great of a value. I mean, obviously I saved money, but not as much as I thought. So make sure you're filling in those cracks with other pieces and getting your money's worth. So watch out for that, definitely. I think the pick-a-brick is most definitely best for small parts. So 1x1 bricks, 1x1 tiles. Now, this last con is not necessary of pick-a-brick, but if you want to maximize your value, you have to pack the pieces, which means stacking. And for any of you guys that have stacked bricks before, you know how extremely time-consuming it is, not only to pack it, but then to take it apart when you get back. So I would probably not recommend this to people, really for the reason that it usually, just like parting out Lego sets, is not worth your time. I mean, if you enjoy it, that's fine, but understand that usually it ends up being enjoyment and not too much actual value. Here's actually a picture from my latest pick-a-brick haul. Again, really a fantastic haul. Got a ton of these parts. Again, not sure why I got so many bones. I don't know. I might trade those off sometime. We'll see. Halloween time. Maybe might come in handy. Anyways, fantastic haul that day. All right. So local and online bulk used Lego. So for those of you guys that have, been involved in the Lego community, you're aware that lots of people that are done with Lego sell them off. So they might have garage sales, yard sales, Facebook Marketplace, I think US only Craigslist. So there are lots of places where you can buy this. There's also things on eBay, so you can buy this not only local but also national and international even. But the issue usually that comes up when you're buying online is that the prices will definitely be more expensive. If you buy locally, you tend to get better prices. Again, this is just a generalization, and it's what I've seen in the past. So the pro is you get a high quantity of parts. There's really no coming close to the quantity of a bulk used Lego. Usually, I mean, depends on how big you get. You can literally get 10,000 plus parts for not that expensive. And that's not something you can say when you're talking about Lego usually. Another pro is that depending on the size, you might actually find some rare or valuable items. I have found decently rare items in large hauls. That includes minifigures, pieces, and just other little goodies you might you might not have seen anywhere else. Another pro is it's a great way to jumpstart your collection. I think the majority of my parts collection comes from a huge haul I purchased way long ago. So here are the cons. Most parts are used. Like I said in the last video, used parts are not a big... oh my god, what was I going to say? Most parts, the used is not really that bad for most people. Some people just don't care. They're fine with used parts. I'll go a step further and explain that sometimes you'll find really dirty parts. You'll find things that are not Lego. And in general, it's not always the cleanest. I'll just put it that way, right? I'm not going to say that it's going to be terrible and unhygienic, but you should try to wash the pieces if you can. I'll probably go into making a video on something like that in the future, but I'd say that can be a con depending on how clean or dirty it is. So other con is there's really no choice of parts. You kind of just get what is available. Compared to all the other ones, you sort of have some choice at least over which parts am I buying, which parts do I not want to buy, and that's, to a lot of people, definitely a big con. Now, the last con is it's tough to organize. Imagine you buy from Lugbulk or something like that, or the Pick-a-Brick Wall, and you get maybe 10 or 15 lots, right? It's fairly easy to organize. Maybe even if you mix one or two, it's not a big deal. Now, if you buy one of these huge hauls, I can say with a decent amount of confidence that you'll have at least 50 to 100 lots. Now, I have made orders in which I have had over 1,000 lots. And for any of you that have organized 1,000 lots, you know how crazy time consuming it is. Even if you just sort by color. It actually brings me into my picture. This is actually me and a couple of friends. This picture is actually a couple years old now, but it just shows you how much work there is. This is the crazy haul I was talking about. We were sorting it out by color and it took so long. I mean, it's actually quite a bit of fun, but you need to keep in mind that it is extremely time consuming. Definitely a couple hours process. All right. So this brings us to our very last way of getting bulk Lego, and that is parting out and parts drafts. So I'll explain to you right away what the difference is. Parting out is usually what we do on Bricklink, is when we part out the different pieces of a set, and usually this word is used when you are selling the pieces. Now, I was just thinking about times when I've parted out sets and I've seen pieces that I really want. I've just taken them out, deleted them from the store, and just held on to them. So for those of you that are sellers, this is another great way. Just take it from your own store. Not something I definitely recommend, but it is a different way. Now, parts drafts are usually run by lugs or Lego users groups, and it's when each member buys a single Lego set, they bring it in, they open it up, they sort it out, and similarly to parting out, each person takes one or two clumps of pieces, and depending on the size of the set, you get more or less pieces. And so let's take a look at the pros. So, one of the pros is that there is a great variety of parts. Sorry about that, guys. So what that means is that most sets have quite a decent amount of lots. I've never done a parts draft before, so I don't know what the average size is. But in my experience, just parting out Lego sets for Bricklink is that there's usually a pretty good variety of parts. For different builders, they want different pieces. And so that's definitely good. The other thing is you have controllable quantities. Now, this might not sound like that great, but you can pretty much choose how many of a certain piece you want. Now, there's only an extent, right? So if there's a new set with this one amazing piece, right, and you want like 10 of them, you'd have to buy 10 sets. So it's not always as easy as it sounds, but if there's a new set with lots of good parts, it sometimes makes sense. I do realize as I'm talking about this that this might be one of the most impractical versions because it requires you to either spend a lot of money parting out or be part of a lug. The other pro is that you do have a choice of parts to an extent that you can choose which parts you want. The cons is if you are parting out by yourself, you need to purchase many sets, right? For it to really be a bulk haul, you need to really get at least 3 or 4, and that can also be pretty expensive pretty quickly. If not, you need to be part of a lug and do a parts draft. I mean, to be honest, if you have enough Lego friends or people in your area that are interested, you don't really have to be a part of a lug. You guys can just get together and say, hey, let's all buy a set and just do this. So I guess that's not necessary. It's just an easier way. And this con is probably the most important one, is that there are many unwanted parts. So no matter how many great parts there are in a set, there's almost always going to be parts that you don't want or really no one wants. So in a parts draft, they're kind of just the last pick, and that's definitely one of the biggest cons for this. So that, I think, really brings us to the end. This is just a picture of when I parted out, I think, the Bobaton set from Harry Potter. And yeah, some pretty cool pieces. Again, not all stuff I would use. Like, I honestly don't know what I would do with these carriage wheels other than use them as wheels. Anyways, I hope this video helped. Let me know what other techniques you guys have used in the past. Maybe I'll make a part 3 of this. Who knows? I'll see you guys soon. Thanks again. Have a great day.